Fake cop shows student the hard way. A man in Southeast China who claims to be a cop was recently caught in public harassing a student for damaging his vehicle. The incident took place on December 19th in SHAOGUAN, Guangdong Province. The unnamed man, who claimed to be a cop, was seen harassing a student and introducing him to the pavement for throwing rocks at his vehicle. The student was forced to apologize to the man in public and punish himself. The fake cop was later arrested by actual police. Turns out he was just a security guard. Time for class.
Students in Japan swap heterosexual uniforms. A Yoshida High Schools held an unusual event on November 11th, one that has sparked some interesting discussion. The activity and the day have been dubbed Sex Exchange Day, and students are allowed to come to school wearing the uniforms of the other gender. Participation is strictly volunteer, but it's essentially an opportunity where girls get to wear pants and the boys get to wear skirts to school. The event began in 2013 as a way to challenge students and commonly held social gender stereotypes. This year, there were 299 students who participated in the event, and surprisingly, there were more boys than there were girls. Some of the observations made by the female students were that they enjoyed their day in pants, whereas the boys said they felt cold all day since they were in skirts, and they found it difficult to remember to keep their legs together. And that wasn't the only problem with modesty that they struggled with. Some of the boys said that after this, they would appreciate some of the problems the girls in their schools struggled with. Hopefully, the idea is that those 300 participants learned something and won't be taking these kind of things for granted anymore.
What a bunch of snowflakes. A social media manager for a Maryland school district was recently fired for being sassy on Twitter, the victim of higher-ups with sticks up their asses. The hullabaloo began after a student sent a tweet to the Frederick County Public Schools account, asking if school would be canceled the next day, but misspelling the word tomorrow. Account manager Katie Nash replied in jest, asking how the student would learn to spell the word correctly if school was closed. The spectacular burn lit up the Twitterverse, with netizens very amused by Katie's quip. The student didn't take it personally, and even continued with the harmless banter. But clearly the uptight pansies that make up the school board did, since they fired Nash for her inappropriate tweets. Naturally, the firing led to a social media uproar, with Twitter users coming to Nash's defense and students clamoring to get her back. Nash has been surprisingly chill about being sacked, and says she understands where the school's coming from. Though, really, they couldn't have counseled or given her suggestions instead.
Transgender student fights school over discrimination. After successfully winning the right to run for school prom king, a transgender teen is now taking on a Wisconsin school district. Ashton Whitaker is taking the Kenosha Unified School District to court to fight for his bathroom rights. The 16-year-old had been using the boys' bathroom for months until the school suddenly denied him access in February. Whitaker and other transgender peers were made to wear green wristbands so staff could more easily monitor their bathroom use. The teen limited his fluid intake as a result, which aggravated his migraines and led to fainting spells. Teachers also kept calling him by his female birth name and made him room with girls on a school orchestra trip to Europe. Whitaker began identifying as a boy in middle school and claims the school's refusal to treat him as one is discriminatory.
Teen faces jail over paper plane that stabbed teacher's eye. A high school student in Andrews, South Carolina, could face up to 30 days in jail for throwing a paper airplane that struck his science teacher in the eye. The incident occurred on January 13th, as Andrews' high school science teacher, Edward McIver, was instructing his class. Instead of paying attention, 17-year-old David Michael Elliott made a paper airplane and threw it in McIver's direction. Unluckily for all involved, the thing sailed directly into his eye. Bad timing, as he was still recovering from recent ocular surgery. Elliott was called to a meeting with the vice principal and an administrator, where he fessed up to throwing the plane, but insisted he'd aimed merely for McIver's head. But Elliott had already earned a rep as a troublemaker and wasn't going to get out of this one so easily. McIver stated he intended to press charges. Elliott was charged with third-degree assault and battery and released on bond. He's due to appear in court on February 14th.